To my right, I have Fraser White, our main speaker. And to my left, I have Miles Peters, our vote of thanks. My colleagues and I have been recently discussing the topic of superheroes and what they mean to us. Miles was saying that a superhero is someone who is genuinely good, turns up at the very last minute when all hope seems lost in order to save the day. Someone to aspire to. However, I was saying that superheroes are chaotic characters who seem to have free rein to break the law at any cost, so long as the greater good is seen to be done. Totally false or unrealistic. We turn to Fraser as a Year 10 student to help put us Year 9s right. Fraser is himself a bit like a type of superhero. He is well-mannered, good-willed, and incredibly modest. A kind of Clark Kent character, if you will. Although, I'm not too sure how fast he can type. He's a big fan of Reading Football Club, which you could argue is both his last name and his kryptonite, and he recently interviewed the owner, Sir John Majewski, for Radio Berkshire. Considering Reading's current form, I imagine Sir John shares Fraser's wish to have a superhero signed in a transfer window. But at a push, Ronaldo would do. Fraser is qualified to teach us about superheroes, as he's an avid reader of comic books, and he's followed their progress onto the silver screen. So let's hear from the man himself. Fraser, superheroes or misleading idols? Ladies and gentlemen, please can you put your hands together for Fraser White.
Thank you for that, Ollie. I hope I live up to that fantastic introduction. And I'd just like to say that Ronaldo would be lucky to be a royal. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word superhero? Yes, you probably think about men and women in colourful costumes flying around with the first letter of their name on the front of their tight-fitting leotard, creating chaos, blowing up buildings and beating up bad people. However, this isn't what it's all about, and I'm sorry to say that both my younger teammates, whilst being right in their own way, have been to the point. Sorry guys. Superheroes are in fact courageous people who do things to help us, the ordinary people, sacrificing life or simply risking death in a never-ending attempt to save us all and make us better people. An example to aspire to, yes, but not at any cost, because heroes have to play by the rules. That's what makes them heroes and not villains. A quote that quite touched me was one from the comic The Flash. Nora Allen, The Flash's mother, says, "Life is locomotion. If you're not moving, you're not living. But there comes a time when you've got to stop running away from things, and you've got to start running towards something. You've got to forge ahead, keep moving, even if the path isn't lit. Trust that you'll find your way." Inspiring words in an uncertain world. The Flash, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Captain America, they are all examples of superheroes. But are they misleading idols? Children out there love them, but what message do these superheroes give? They teach us that helping out is a good thing, doing good. Unfortunately, children were, and still are, wasting their parents' money buying school bags, stationery and pencil cases of these animated figures. Children, and even some adults, can become so obsessed with these characters that they can become socially awkward. Is this a problem that's happening right now? People can be inspired all they want, but unless they start doing good things, it is a wasted opportunity. Whilst we've been growing up, we've been seeing all these superheroes on our TV screens and in movies. But what messages are they giving us in this 21st century? They're giving us a bad one, aren't they? Would you like to see someone in the society we live in now blowing up unpopular millionaires' offices, beating up bad people, or even shooting them? You might be thinking yes, but no, you wouldn't. Think about it. In years to come, we could see simply anyone starting to beat up people who they think have committed crimes. And as for shooting people, What about Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold at Columbine High School in 1999? They thought they were getting justice and they were above the law. Does this make them heroes? Of course not. Real heroes not only do good, they help others rather than themselves. So, who are our real superheroes? Is it the likes of Superman whom we see on the television? Or is it the servicemen or women who fight for and represent our country? They don't get nearly as much recognition as they deserve. Whether you agree with the cause or not, there is no denying that they're putting their lives at risk every day and they don't get hit up when hit by a grenade. So, shouldn't we be getting servicemen and women on our backpacks and lunchboxes and the first letter of their names on the front of our shirts? The charity, Help for Heroes, was set up 6 years ago on the 1st of October 2007 by ex-serviceman Bryn Parry and his wife Emma to raise money for the care of wounded veterans, and so far it has raised a staggering £141 million. Help for Heroes is such an amazing charity, and it's out there to help the real superheroes in this world. The Help for Hero mission is to deliver an enduring national network of support for our wounded heroes and their families. They are at the point in the movie where all hope seems lost, but against all the odds they find that last ounce of energy to carry on. Now, you wouldn't associate footballers as being superheroes, would you? Maybe if they scored a goal in the FA Cup final, they may be a superhero to you. But in fact, one football player is a superhero. That is Stranraer's captain, Frank McCowan. Frank was one of the 100 firefighters working that night at the Queensland pub in Glasgow after a helicopter crashed into it. McCowan said the day after, obviously it was a bit of a different build-up to the next game. I only had an hour's sleep. It's only a game of football, you know. There was no danger I wasn't going to play. So in conclusion, who are our real superheroes? I tend to agree that our TV superheroes may offer a fantastical idea of good versus evil, of daring do in extreme circumstances. Perhaps they could be deemed as misleading idols, but not if people put into practice what their true message is. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for that, Fraser. I'll now ask Mr. Blackett to pose his question. Thank you.
Very interesting talk, thank you very much. I think most of us would agree with you that the real superheroes are in the armed forces, in hospitals, in fire brigades. The question is, how do we actually get that recognition for those people in a culture where stardom is king? Perhaps we could get those stars, could we, to actually take responsibility of switching the attention to the people who do the real superhero work. Could we do that?
I think we could do that, and I think if we stop making maybe movies about the superheroes that we have at the moment, such as Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America, and start actually making movies about the soldiers and the armed forces, and I think that can make a huge impact as to help in this society. But I think that the soldiers and the armed forces, they don't nearly get as much recognition as they deserve, and if we can get the press and the media to give them that attention that they deserve, and that for us to make movies, and I think we can do that.
Thank you, Mr. Blackett, and thank you, Fraser. I'll now hand you over to Miles Peters, a vote of thanks.
Thank you for that, Ollie. When Ollie and I were discussing this topic, I had many ideas and images that rushed into my head. One of them was Superman, flying in to rescue Lois Lane from the burning wreckage of the headquarters of the Daily Planet. I did not see Superman as a misleading idol. Mind you, I hadn't thought of Fraser as Clark Kent. I saw Superman Superman as a superhero. Someone who comes in at the last moment and saves the day, beats the bad guy and makes sure good triumphs over evil. However, Fraser has challenged us to see heroes in the everyday, to see heroes in our armed forces, to see heroes in our charity workers, to see heroes where before we saw the ordinary. I like Fraser's quote from The Flash. Life is like a locomotion. You've got to forge ahead, even if the path isn't lit. Trust that you'll find your way. To me, this means that when someone says you can't do something, you have to try that extra bit harder to get where you want to be. Or in other words, to find the light when you walk in the dark. I don't know about you, but I agree with Fraser. I think a superhero is someone who serves other people and expects nothing in return. Like Superman, slipping back into the role of Clark Kent, or maybe Frank McGurk. The fictional characters that everyone thinks of today are still good role models, only because they always want to do good and help others, not because they have super strength and can basically do whatever they want outside the law. It is only when we think of them in this way that they become misleading idols. The real hero is the one who gives their all. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Fraser White.
Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a safe journey home. Thank you.